dear students, in this session, we are going to learn about the language diversity and regional ethos. Have you ever heard of the word diversity? Ethos? We are all familiar with the phrase unity in diversity, right? So, what is language diversity or regional ethos? India is a vast country with 28 states and 7 union territories. There are many languages spoken in India. Some of them are not even known outside. Each and every state has their own regional languages, and in that there are different dialects too. Strange, isn't it? This is called diversity. Why is it important to learn about language diversity? Language diversity is important as it speaks about our culture and unity. Each state in India is divided by language, race, and other features. But this doesn't make us away from each other. Even though we have many differences, we are united. Sometime or the other, there were some conflicts over languages, but that need not be a problem as such. We unite by our cultural ethnicity. Our ethnic culture binds all Indians together. We Indians respect all the cultures. So, it is important to learn our ethnic culture to know what is binding us together. So, students, let us together now learn about our language diversity and regional ethos. This short video will guide you to learn about the vast cultural and regional ethnicity of our great country, India. Language and language diversity in India. To start with, India is a country with the vast linguistic diversity. Linguistic diversity in the sense you all will be amazed to know some facts. Do you know how many languages are there in India? How many dialects are there in India? Well, there are around 179 languages and 544 dialects in India, in which most of them are mother tongue languages. Some of them are not widely spread. Most of the languages are often tribal speeches and talked by less than 1% of the entire population. In India, we can see a good deal of linguistic diversity. The Indian Constitution has only listed 18 languages as official languages. And do you want to know which these 18 languages are? These are Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Oriya, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu and Urdu. Out of the total population, 39.85% of the people speak Hindi, 8% of the people speak Bengali, Marathi and Telugu. About 6.26% speak Tamil and around 5.22% of people speak Urdu, and the rest by 5% of the remaining according to the census report in the year 1991. We can divide the language into different linguistic families, Indo-Aryan and Dravidian. The four main Dravidian languages are Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada and Telugu. As we all know, these languages are spoken by only 20% of the Indian population. From this, we can understand the Indo-Aryan family dominates the rest by around 75%. Right now, our official languages are Hindi and English. During medieval times, it was Arabic or Persian. In ancient times, it was Sanskrit. As we can see, there is a link between each time in the language era. One of the most important marks of group identification is language. For example, if we see a group of people talking in Tamil, we will be able to know that they are from Tamil Nadu. Language is used to express thoughts, structure and value of people. Do you know? Language even has the capacity to unite the people. Now, let's see what is meant by linguism. As already said, India is a multilinguistic nation. Language has become a powerful political articulation. For example, in Tamil Nadu, language sentiments are used for getting power within state politics. Coming to the language problem, it has two aspects. The first one is the medium of instruction during education, and the second one is meeting the demands of Hindi speaking and non-Hindi speaking radicals. To make a response to these two aspects, the Government of India implemented three-language formula. Now, what is the three-language formula? The first one is teaching the regional language or mother tongue. There is a difference between regional language and mother tongue language. Regional language is the language spoken in a specific area or place we stay in. For example, in Tamil Nadu, the regional language is Tamil, and in Kerala, the regional language is Malayalam. Mother tongue languages are languages that we usually learn from childhood from our parents. For example, an Andhra family living in Tamil Nadu have Telugu as their mother tongue language and Tamil as their regional language. Coming to the second formula of the three-language formula, that is teaching Hindi or another Indian language in Hindi-speaking area. For example, a South Indian finds it very difficult to stay in North due to the language problem. The third and the last formula is to teach English or other modern European language. English is a must to survive these days. If we have a good command over English language, we can reach great heights. Now, we are going to deal with the second aspect of the language problem. According to this act, the government passed an Official Language Act of 1967. Does anybody know what this act say? Do you know the official language of India? According to this act, the official language of India is English. In India, where 40% of people speak Hindi, the official language needs to be Hindi, right? But many states in India do not approve for Hindi to be the official language. So, until all the states agree Hindi to be the official language, English will be our official language. As we all know, every country has their own official language. For example, in China, their official language is Chinese. But as we said, India being said as a multilinguistic nation, it is difficult to opt for one language. So, this is the three-language formula. By using this, we will be able to make a change in our official language, that is to Hindi. Language conflicts. The next topic in our session is language conflicts. Can you imagine once there were conflicts over language and still there are? Quite unbelievable, isn't it? Language is a means of communication and a vehicle of thought, and more often it has also been a means of conflict. If I say that the issue of language is as sensitive as the issue of religion, I may sound ingenious, but the fact is that the former is older than the latter and covers more domains of life than the latter. Language and religion are both intermittent, and the net result of the conflicts involving them can be profoundly harmful to our unity. You know, a language conflict is simple conflicts between languages in India. There are many factors that came into light when the language conflicts arise. Do you know what these factors are? These are conflicts between political parties, social classes, urban people and rural people, pressure group, and also conflicts between institutions. The concept of language conflicts points out that language can be symbol of conflicts over domains, politics, education, economy or administration. Do you know when the history of language conflict started? Let us rewind back to our history a little bit. In 1938, Madras government under C. Rajagopalachari made Hindi as a compulsory language to be learned by students. The founder of the Dravidian movement, Periyar E.V. Ramasamy, opposed this notion and launched an anti-Hindi agitation. This was not only the language conflict. In the northern states like Rajasthan, Bihar, UP, MP launched an anti-English riot. You will be amazed to know that they even indulged in the acts of violence, lawlessness and destruction to government property. A strange fact to be noted is that under the stress of emotions and ignorance, in certain states the linguistic group became an object of violence and physical assault. Another example for language conflict is issue in Assam. During the year 1980, there rose conflict over the issue of language. Government of India released an act. This act was an attempt of unity in diversity to make Hindi as our official language. But do you think in a country with a vast linguistic diversity will allow Hindi to be their official language? No, it can't be. Most of the people who don't know to speak Hindi protested against it. So, due to this, violence took place in southern states like Tamil Nadu over this issue. Already there is a notion that Hindi speakers have more advantage and dominate the non-Hindi speakers. This act was considered partial. To demonstrate the language conflicts, let's take the language conflicts in Assam. During the year 1972 in Assam, riot broke between Assamese and the Bengali Hindus. These Bengali Hindus demanded the Bengali language to be made regional language of Assam. So, the local Assamese followed a riot against this consideration. Finally, you know what happened in Assam? The Assamese middle class took the issue to the heart and worked towards employment. They became a threat to the Bengali Hindus and they became popular within few years. They took a path to regain their regional identity and due share in economic development. Let's come back to our present age. As we all know, the present stage has changed a lot from what it was, say, about 25 years ago. We can't actually say that language conflicts are solved, but they remain hidden. The attention has been directed to some immediate causes. All the controversy have calmed down to a great extent. But keep in mind, any time a language riot can emerge and the undercurrent of language conflicts is still on. Ethnicity and ethnic relations in India, coming to the second half of this session. Nowadays, there is growing concern for ethnic relations. India too is concerned about this issue. To know what these issues are, first we have to learn about few definitions. Let's start with the term ethnic. The term ethnic is derived from a Greek word etho. Do you know what etho means? It means nation. Ethnic means coexistence of many groups that can be termed as ethnic within a nation. There is also another meaning, group of people who can be distinguished by certain features like race, language or any other aspect of culture. Coming to the next term is the ethnic group. An ethnic group is defined as a cultural group whose members have a common language, race, customs, religion and beliefs. These also share a common descent. Next term we are going to learn is ethnicity. Ethnicity refers to interrelationships between ethnic groups. Cohen in the year 1974 defined ethnicity as an interaction between culture groups operating within common social contents. From this, we can know that ethnicity urges the need to create ethnic identity. Now, let us understand the term ethnic identity. Ethnic identity follows an arrangement to understand it easier. The basis of ethnic identity is nationality, language, religion, region, race, caste and self. Now, we have seen all the terms that deal with ethnic relations. Ethnic relation is the basic form of identity by which an individual defines himself and others. Taking a look over the ethnic relations in India, we need to keep in mind two things. First, the reasons behind so much interest shown for study of ethnic relations. Secondly, the basic approach in society towards the study of ethnic relations. Let's first see the factors associated with the widespread interest in the ethnic relations. Do you know what the important factors are? Let's see them one by one. First one, migration, then cultural contact, development of technology, emergence of thickly populated cities, and the last factor is conflict. As the factors are stated, let's learn about approaches to study of ethnic relations. The approaches are divided into two categories. Can you guess what they are? They are the consensus approach and conflict approach. Let's first see the consensus approach. It is based on belief of structural functionalism. There are two theories under this approach. They are cultural assimilation theory or melting pot theory, and the either theory is study of pre-colonial societies. Let's learn about the cultural assimilation theory. Ethnic identity of born minority group would get merged into that of host minority. To understand this, let us take an example. Chinese people moving to America will start to follow American culture and abide by American rules. Coming to the second theory, it is based on the study of pre-colonial societies. This states that social interaction between ethnic groups become foundation for ethnic distinctions. We have learned the background knowledge about ethnic relations and interactions. Now, let us learn the various dimensions of ethnic relations. Let us turn our attention to ethnic diversity in India. India is a country with immense diversity. We differ in basis of region, language, religion, race, etc. The four major premises that ethnicity operates in India are language, caste, religion and region. Let's take the first promise. Language and region are combined because in India, regions are divided mainly in the basis of language. India was divided into various provinces due to administrative purposes. So, due to this, various states were formed with various languages. Do you know, by this premise, we often decide who is the group and who is out of the group? The next premise is religion. As we already know, there are many conflicts in India based on religion. Some of us are even witness of such a problem. The most common is the Hindu-Muslim rivalry over various communal issues. These have often paved way destructions of various monuments. The next premise that we are going to see is the caste in India. There are many castes. It divides the people on the basis of lower caste and upper caste. As we all know, in earlier days, the lower caste people are treated very badly by the upper class people. But due to certain reforms, the effects of caste on the people have reduced over the past decade. These are the various dimensions in which ethnic relations reflect. Types of ethnic conflicts and solutions. Coming to the last subtopic in our session today, that is types of ethnic conflicts and their relations. There arise many conflicts in ethnic relations despite various civil rights. We have seen the breaking out of various ethnic groups violently. Why people who have coexisted suddenly turn hostile towards one another? The answer is mainly religion and language. Let's now learn about the language conflicts and religion conflicts. Language conflicts we have already learned in the previous section. Coming to the religion conflicts, well, religion conflict started with the advent of Muslims to this country. But don't you think such an imposition is erroneous? Can we blame it all on the Muslims? No, we can't blame it on that reason. The main reason behind this is the British introduction of electoral policy and the divide and rule policy. This paved way for hostility between two communities. Now, let us look at some examples of ethnic conflicts directly based on religion. First one is the Hindu-Muslim conflicts in Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Has anybody heard about this riot? This incident happened in August 1980 during a congregation, that is a prayer ceremony at the time of Eid. The manifest cause of this incident was the entry of a pig into the khutbah or sermon, where around 50,000 people were gathered. The pig wandered inside, violating the cleanliness and defiling the sanctity of the prayer. Well, this incident led to the violent effects by a frenzied mob who indulged in looting, arson and rape. The main cause here was the domination of Hindu Punjabis by Muslims. The Muslims were engaged in making brass vessels. In the later 1970s, these Muslims started exporting these vessels to West Asian countries. This exporting broke the business of Hindu Punjabis. The success of the Muslims disturbed the business of the Hindu businessmen. Since the Muslims started getting many orders from the West countries, their business expanded. What will happen to the Hindus? They felt threatened and dominated by the Muslims, and many properties of the Hindus were purchased by the Muslims. All this resulted in a climate of hostility and suspicion which led to violent riots. Now, the second example we are going to discuss is the Hindu-Sikh conflicts in Punjab. You will be amazed to hear that this was also a case of both language and religious conflicts. The main cause for this was the Golden Temple incident, which was authorized by the late Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Do you know the effect of this that led to? This led to the brutal assassination of the late Prime Minister. The assassination was followed by massive killing of Sikhs in the surrounding areas. This incident is known to all as one of the most tragic time of Indian economy. Coming to features of ethnic conflicts. First and foremost, ethnic conflict are a consequence of organized communal bodies. Secondly, ethnic conflicts arise not due to some common goals, but due to some conflicting interests. And finally, the basis of group loyalty depends on the principle of mutual interest. The last topic in this section is solutions to the ethnic conflicts. Now, we need to have a coherent and effective response to ethnic conflicts. Well, can you suggest some easy methods to avoid ethnic conflicts? I will suggest some. They are: first is rumors, then suspicion against another group, and last, building up sectarian feelings among people. If we can avoid all these, I am sure we can minimize ethnic conflicts, but it is difficult to eradicate completely. Conflicts can be reduced if we people have a broad mindset and an open mind to be tolerant towards others. Relations between language and regional ethos. The last topic in this session is the relations between language and regional ethos. Listen what I say: if language was synonymous with region, we can satisfy the formation of separate states by the political aspiration of each group. Do you think it is possible? Well, do you think this will become a reality? No, it is really difficult for it to become a reality or even a foreseen impossibility. Can you guess the reason behind it? The first is the languages spoken in India are hundreds. The second reason is that Hindi-speaking people are distributed over a wide area. Similarly, regionalism can be closely associated with language, but we can't say it is synonymous. Regionalism can take place inside a linguistic state. The beginning of the session, we started with language and what is language diversity. We have also stated how the language diversity in India has changed over the years. We have also outlined the various issues that are pertaining to the language conflicts. We have also learned the measures to tackle language conflicts by illustrating the 3-language formula. In the second half of the session, we have learnt the phenomenon of ethnic relations and ethnic conflicts in India. We began the second half of the session by defining terms like ethnic groups, ethnic identity, etc. Then we moved on to the factors associated with the interest in the study of ethnic relations all over the world. The factors mentioned are migration, culture contact, technology, cities and conflicts. We also learned that the basic approach to the study of ethnicity, the consensus approach and the conflict approach. We did describe the premises on which ethnicity functions in India, namely region, language, religion and caste. We then learnt the various forms of ethnic conflict in India, namely language conflicts and religious conflicts. We summarized the common features found in ethnic conflicts. We stated the solutions offered to overcome the problem of ethnic conflicts in India. And lastly, we saw the relationship between language and regional ethos. Hope this session has brought to you a clear picture about language diversity and regional ethos, and I'm sure this lesson would set the base for the forthcoming sessions as well.